Hi, everyone. So, this is our first episode of Paranormal Partners in Crime, aka PPIC. And this actually started with me and my mom. So, I'm Dee. This is my mom.
Hello, my name is Kathy.
And so, we're from a small town our family has always been in called Otter Creek, Florida. When I lived there, the population was like 50. Now, the population is like 35. I'm pretty sure the 15 people that died were our family. So, it's a very small population, but everyone in our family who's experienced something, which is everyone except my grandfather, we're pretty convinced that it's a portal of some sort. And so we wanted to kind of capture all of these stories. And low key, I've been capturing them through fiction. I read a lot of fiction, YA fiction, and young adult fiction. So I've been capturing this through speculative fiction for years. But we wanted to get the actual real stories and not only look at this, but also looking at Black culture when it comes to this, Southern culture when it comes to this, and all the other elements of our identities that like really feed into this. So this whole season, we're going to be looking at all that different things. We're also going to be looking at historical perspectives sometimes throughout it. So I hope you enjoy this. If you're into paranormal stuff, this is your thing. But we've also never seen a Black mother daughter duo do this. So if there are any other Black mother daughter duos, come join us. So for our first episode, we're actually going to be talking about the family history, and we're going to be talking about Black magic. Now, let me be very clear when I say this. Um, Whenever I use the term Black magic, I will be using it in connection with the term hoodoo in particular. Occasionally, if it is voodoo, I will make that comment. But the difference between hoodoo and voodoo is simple. Hoodoo was the practice of West African religions mixed with Christianity, mixed with Native American spiritualism. That equaled hoodoo. So, one of the core principles of hoodoo that I actually just learned was that due to the fact of the premise of hoodoo, which is what the enslaved, I apologize, the enslaved used in order to hide their religion and Christianity. And they also used it as a way to get back at the people who oppressed them. If you are using hoodoo on people who have wronged you, the karmic net is zero, meaning that like if you're using hoodoo on the enslavers, the one who enslaved the people, there's no karma. I had never heard of this. So for instance, if someone wrongs you and you do something to them in the hoodoo realm, there is no karma. That is a new thing I never heard of. I had never heard of that before. Because in more traditional Anglo, meaning like white religions and even white ways of thinking about witchcraft, there's always a karmic residue that you have to worry like, oh, it's going to come back to you times 10, stuff like that. Hoodoo is different if you use it properly because you're only supposed to be using it against people who harmed you. Or the other version of using hoodoo is to improve your life. So to do things to invite the ancestors in because it is ancestral work, doing things to improve yourself. So it's more of a spirituality than a religion. So those are also things that we'll be discussing and talking about it as it relates to our family now and in the past from what we know personally and what we've experienced personally. So, in our family, and I can correct me if I'm wrong, for as long as I can think of, we've always had someone who has done like roots or what is considered to be like hoodoo.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is true.
And if I'm not mistaken, from your family, it's on both sides, both grandma's side and granddaddy's side, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think it's particularly strong in Otter Creek, like the energy of Otter Creek, because that's where our family has been for over 100 years, almost 200 years now?
hmm I think that it was probably practiced early,
Mhm.
and it's just and you know how everything is always so secretive, and I think that as time went on they stopped talking about it, but I
Mhm.
think like the older ones practiced it and just didn't pass it on like they should have. And that certain parts of the family are born with the gift, and a lot of them don't know how to use it or they're out of touch with it. So whenever anything happens, it scares them or it intimidates them, and they don't practice or learn what they have.
Hmm. So I've also noticed in our family that I feel like grandma's side of the family understands the gifts because it
They're
hasn't been.
stronger. They're
Yeah,
stronger.
yeah, they don't really hide it, but I know that even still, some people on that side of the family have chosen to not have
Yes.
gifts, not use their gifts, to have their gifts taken back.
Right.
Yes, and you're one of those people.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to share what your gift was?
Ugh, horrible. Um, it was, I knew when someone was gonna die. I could feel it was like a death. It was, I knew when someone was gonna die. I could feel it. And I also knew when something horrible was gonna happen to somebody. And if I was around them, I would pick up on it. Sometimes I would tell them about it. Sometimes I would just keep it to myself because I didn't want to scare anybody, or I didn't want anybody to think that I was witchy. And because I am an empath, I pick up on all feelings, good and bad, negative, positive, and sometimes it can be overwhelming whenever I'm around certain people. So I really try to stay away from people that I know are negative or have negative thoughts or evil thoughts. Try to stay away from it because it exhausts me. You know, you say that people are
Energy
energy
vampire.
vampires. Yep, they drain me really bad.
So I will tell you this. So like now that you said it in this particular way,
Hmm.
in other cultures, the gift you had would actually be called a banshee.
Oh.
So like banshees have the gift of being able to tell people like when something bad was going to happen, they would know before others. So kind of like that premonition where
Hmm.
um I'm thinking of the show Teen Wolf. I used to watch that. I loved it. But that was like a very exaggerated version of a banshee. And so like you kind of had that gift. Another way of thinking about it, if you're looking at like more old, I would say more Celtic, would be like the crone, the woman who just knows things. Like she can't really
Okay.
tell all the time how she knows them. Um, but like the fact that you are in one specific lane of like death or darkness and stuff like that, that would definitely be like banshee energy. So when was it or what was it that made you be like, I don't want this anymore?
I think it happened whenever I like the few people that I did let in and I did tell, they would always bother me or haunt me about what's going to happen. When is it? Can you feel anything? What is going on? Can you help me with this? Can you help me get my husband back? Can you? I was like, oh my God, I am not even that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, can you put me in touch with somebody in your family that can do it? And I was like, y'all, this is not,
Our full-time job. Not here
yes.
for this. That's not how we exist.
Yeah, I'm here to hang out, have some wine, watch the kids play, and you are beating me down about, you know, and so it just got to the point where it was a burden. And I remember I said, God, please, if this is how it's going to be, I don't want this. I mean, but I will say that it's not, I'm not as keen as I was, but but I still can feel definitely
Mm-hmm.
the empath thing. And I definitely know, even when somebody doesn't know, I know whenever they're sick, and I know that when their end is coming, but it's not as aggressive as it used to be, like to put me in a depression.
Mm-hmm. So for our family in particular, do you think that is why we have a lot of people who have mental health problems and then they self-medicate?
Yes, I definitely feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. In fact, I was talking to Rodney this morning because, he is very big in the church. And I was like, I asked him, I said, you know the gifts that we have, right? And he said, yeah, what we were born with. And I said, yeah. I said, is it witchcraft or is it a gift? He's like, it's a gift. He said, we don't use what we have to harm anybody. He said, we use our gifts to help. He
Hmm.
said, he said, out of the people that actually use it, he said, I don't think I know anybody that uses it for harm.
Hmm. And I think that's also why I started this off by distinguishing between witchcraft versus us having these natural gifts and even the act of hoodoo.
Right,
Because those two are different things. And when I started exploring my gifts and I deconstructed from Christianity, one of the things I had to come to terms with was something grandma had a struggle with, was like, oh, I'm a Christian, but I also have all these gifts, because grandma was super loaded with gifts
right,
that were very aggressive, to the point where granddaddy would say, oh, she's witchy,
right,
but it wasn't witchy. But also in the process, grandma taught us a lot of things about
right,
how to utilize our gifts, and
right,
some tricks that had been passed down, which were hoodoo, that had been
right,
passed down from her, ancestors.
right,
And I almost want to believe that, and I've been thinking about this for a while, since you and I had the conversation where we traced our ancestry, as far as my grandfather's grandmother was Native American, but they were the Native Americans that hated Black people.
right.
And she only married Black because my grandfather's family had money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but part of me wonders if some of that hate, yes, I know it was because there was layers to it. Like, they worked in tangent with, white men to steal their land, and then they bought it and thought it was theirs, that whole thing. But also part of me wonders if it was because they viewed the native and indigenous spirituality as witchcraft.
Probably. I think of that. I thought of that too.
Hmm.
And plus you have to think it was something that they didn't really understand.
Hmm.
And since she was, I'm sure, since she was so mean that all of the kids and grandkids would say, I'm sure she didn't share all of her gifts with them.
I don't think she probably shared any of them with.
I mean, and you have to think that her and her daughter died so close. They were connected in some sort of way, not just mother and daughter.
They literally died the same year.
Yes.
The same year. Um, which is really wild. Our family lives forever, it feels like, because they do reach the hundreds. So to
Right.
see, uh I'm gonna say,
Zany.
well, I didn't want to say their whole name, they name,
Mm.
like, put them
Oh,
out like that. It's too late now.
all
So
right.
to see Zany and Julia die so close together is very alarming, because even in our family, whenever we had what felt like our series of deaths happening back to back, they were 5 years apart.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to lose two maternal lines in 1 year, had to be a massive shakeup. And so
Right.
that makes me wonder, is some of what we feel in Otter Creek, how do I say this? Is it like, do you do you think that, number one, we're the only ones who feel it? Because I haven't heard any of the white people in OC talk about it. And it
Right.
could be because I'm not really close with the white people there, for obvious
Right.
reasons. If you live in a small town and there's a one Black family and a lot of white people, you can only imagine in Florida and the South how the energy is, right? Um,
Right.
but I wonder if it's like an inheritance thing, where like the gifts are on the property, the gifts recognize us, the spirits recognize us,
Right.
so they feel very comfortable coming to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Versus, because like there's someone who is white living in grandma and granddaddy's house right now. He's white, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I wonder, and I've never seen this man in my life. I don't know anything about this man. And I'm pretty sure he has a family. I can't be certain, but I don't know. I wonder if he has experienced anything in the home.
I know. I know. I would like to talk to him and find out.
Because like so much is in, like, even my former spouse, let's call him Jelly Bean. When Jelly Bean and I went there the last time, he actually, I think that was his first and last time ever going there. My grandfather was there before my grandfather had went back into a nursing home because he had cancer on his way out. And we were all outside talking. And my granddad used to have this thing like he didn't have cable. So he would watch the same Western over and over and over again on VHS, mind you, over and over again.
Yes, yes. And it
And
was just
so,
that way, and it was just 2015, and he
right.
just same thing over and over.
Over it. So like we eventually just turned off the TV and went outside to talk because we was over it. We was not gonna sit here and watch John Wayne or who like we were over it. So we're all on the porch talking, and Jelly Bean hears like kids playing inside the house. We hear it too. We think nothing of it because we already know there's a lot of residual energy. There's a lot of spirit activity in this daytime. So we're used to it. Like daytime, nighttime, the energy there does not care about your sun moon. They don't care about that.
Exactly.
And so Jellybean like sticks his head inside and he looks around and he's like,
And
"You hear?"
ask you, are there kids in the house?
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, "Do you hear that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Is there kids in the house?" And I'm like, "No. Why?" He's like, "I hear kids playing." I'm like, "Yeah, that happens sometimes. Just residual energy." And he's like, "Oh, we got to be out here before it's nighttime." And so like I thought that was hilarious because to me that was the first time someone outside the family saw it or experienced it that I can think of because I've had friends, albeit white friends, that used to spend the night there.
And nothing bothered them.
Nothing.
They would be like, this is such a comfortable house.
Mm-hmm. And so, and like it got to the point at Grandma and Granddaddy's house that no one was sleeping in the room that later became the dining room. And
Yes.
because it became the dining room, because no one was sleeping in there, they was like, it's too much activity. Y'all not gonna.
That used to be our room.
Mm-hmm. And y'all
And
would rather
we
double up.
yeah, we triple up. What you know? We,
Yeah.
me, Denise, and what? I done said people names. Me
Well,
and
my
Denise
auntie niece is dead, so she fine.
and Rodney don't care. Me, Denise, and Rodney would sleep in a twin bed, even though we had our own bed, because there was things everywhere, and
Mhm.
we would sleep, and no lie, we would sleep and wake up each person if we had to get up to go to the bathroom, and then we would walk down the hall with our eyes closed, touching the walls and flipping on lights
Mhm. And like
because
it was so funny because Auntie Niece was pregnant. It would still wake me up. Mind you, I'm 6. What am I gonna do? I
you're
am
gonna,
6.
but you're going to be able to say, yeah, it's there, because that's what we
Mhm.
used to do. If we had our eyes open and we saw the same thing, the other person would say, okay, it's real
Mhm.
because you see it, I see it. I mean, that's like I mean, when we were little, and if Denise needed to go to the bathroom, that she always did, and we would be walking down the hall and somebody would open their eyes and they'd be like, can you see it? Can you see what? Can you see the man with the triangle head? And he wasn't tall. I want to say he was probably about 2.5 to 3 feet, but he looked like he had the triangle
Oh, so it
head.
was like a leprechaun?
I don't know, but he had a triangle head, and he was like a stick figure. But he
This
was
whole
a
time I thought this was a whole person, like
no,
a grown man. No.
no, this was a little, and he would be like in the hall and
What would he be doing?
like dancing close to, like coming to you, and was like, oh, so that's why we wouldn't open our eyes going to the bathroom. Because if you open your eyes going to the bathroom, you're going to see him. And then you
Ma,
can't make it to the bathroom.
I feel like that's just the Fey realm, and y'all can see the Fey realm.
Listen, we weren't trying to see nothing when we were little.
I did not. So that's hilarious. We're gonna circle back to this later because okay, so I'm gonna tell you right now. I did not know he was. I thought it was a full size person.
No, this was a little triangle headed man.
Okay, so I think our family can see the Fey realm then, which isn't surprising if you can see the spirit realm because in my last apartment, I woke up in the middle of the night because I heard what sounded like someone playing in my living room. And at the time I was by myself because I had that roommate that didn't pay no rent, but she was also
Right.
never at my house. And so I thought it was just like my roommate, but it wasn't her. She was gone. She messaged me to let me know she was gone. And then I remember hearing, and then I do this thing where, so for my gift, I don't be trying to see nothing in the real life. So I told my spirit team, like, hey, don't let nothing show up to me. My spirit team knows. I said, what they can do, however, is they can show me pictures in my brain, or they can like touch me to show me stuff if we both approve. There are plenty of times I don't approve. I'd be like, nah. Either A, I'm not trying to do that today, or B, I don't know you like that. C, I don't like your energy. Like, there's reasons, right? And so what my spirit team did is they showed me what was happening in my living room. And it was like a family. It was a mom and like her three kids, but they were like little, like what I would think
Yes.
as the borrowers.
Yes.
And like the mom was like, "Don't make a mess. Quit doing that." They're like, "Oh, mom, we just want to play." And they were literally like all over my couch. And she was like trying to clean up after them as they were just like going through the house. And I was like, "Oh, it's okay." And it was something apparently they did often because she was like, "Every time we come here, you always want to do this." And so she was just kind of scolding them, but it was very adorable. And I think of the borrowers again. That was like the first movie I saw on my first date ever. You and David took me and that person I was with to see the borrowers.
Yes.
But so like that's what I thought about when I saw her. But she was giving typical Keebler elf energy, but like just really tiny and just these little tiny kids just going all and she was just losing her mind. But it seemed like it was something that she did to take them to like blow off steam, like we would take our kids to the park, have them run outside. And so I thought it was adorable. So I just went back to sleep and rolled over because they had never heard anything before. So I wasn't worried. So like when you said the man with the triangle head, like that's what I'm thinking about, like the Fey realm. But like he knows he can scare you, like Monsters Inc. So he gonna keep
Yes.
doing it. Where y'all like, no, I don't see it. Oh, I saw it. He's like, ha ha ha.
Yes. And then when somebody said they saw it, everybody ran down the hall, running over each other, pushing each other in the room.
Meanwhile, like all he had to do was come in the room though. Like he
Oh,
could
gee.
in the room.
We didn't open our eyes once we got into bed. We turned our
Man, just
back.
because your eyes ain't open don't mean he ain't in there.
Listen, and then the person that was sleeping on the outside, they were scared that he would touch them or scratch them.
Mm.
So it was everybody was trying to get in the middle. No, it's my turn to sleep on the middle. No, it's my turn to sleep in the middle. Then I was pregnant and still sleeping with them.
But Ma, you was only like 15, so that's legit. I can just see y'all. Cause
All
that
of
didn't
us.
become a dining room until I was a kid.
Right.
And I to the life of me, I don't know what it looked like before it became a dining room, but I remember them doing construction to make it a dining room. And then
It was it was two bunk beds, two set
okay,
of bunk beds, and the one bunk bed was like if we had friends or something that came over, but there was two sets of bunk beds,
okay.
and the the triangle. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what it was. That last room, the big
Mm,
room,
mm-hmm.
to us that was the portal because
Really?
before we would go to bed we would close that door.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I had Brandon and mama moved um a big bed in the room and his baby crib, and I remember just always being horrified sleeping in that room. Oh,
See, I
but
loved that room.
it was very creepy to me because I remember that's the room where we got our butts beat because we knocked on mom and daddy's door and said, "What y'all in there doing? You just met." But they because they felt like if they moved us to the larger room that we would sleep separately, but we still didn't.
mm. But that's also the same room that years later, when I was a kid, they found a Ouija board in.
I don't know who had no Ouija board. We didn't play with that. That
And
was
that's exactly what the house said. We ain't play with this. We don't do this here. And because well, it's still technically considered a game. But like I remember it was in that closet in that room, which all the closets in Grandma Granny's house are so tiny. But it was in the closet
it
in
was
the
the 70s, you know. You didn't or we didn't have a lot of stuff, but you know that closet, we were afraid to go in that closet.
like, well, we don't know how long the Ouija board been there either though.
Right. But we were scared to go in that closet. I mean, because even if your clothes was in there, if it fell on the floor, you wasn't touching it unless it was right on the top. You wasn't
But
digging
it's not.
for it.
That's not a walk-in closet. That's still a tiny closet.
It's still, listen, if it fell and it went down somewhere and you couldn't see it, you wasn't putting your hands down there to get it.
Interesting.
And
So
mama would
like,
cl- and mama would clean the room and be like, you know that shirt, I found it. And we were like, it's good you found it because I wasn't gonna
because I
find
wasn't
it.
looking for it. So like, so for me, that so it's so interesting because like that room was always the room where like me, Brandon, and Rodney would sleep because Saturday morning we was playing cartoons, or we was doing the dun 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 dun.
Yep,
I'd be
the
screaming, running
shark.
all on the beds and stuff. Yeah. So like that was always the playroom, and then Auntie Niece's room, which is funny because now that's the room I dream of the most often, the closet in that room, because Grandma always had the most random clothes from LARC in there of like random sizes that nobody wore in the house. But she was like,
Yes,
in case somebody come over, they're gonna need clothes. Why?
right.
Why are they doing this here?
Because I told you that back in the 70s, that
Mm,
if anybody was hitchhiking and came to our house, that they would feed them, they would pack them a lunch, they would let them take a shower, they would have clothes for them. Mama would wash their dirty clothes that they had and send them back on the road.
mm. Cause
I
you got
mean,
lost out there. There ain't nothing else. It's
that's
literally
and
in the middle of
daddy
nowhere.
and sometimes like if daddy was going to Guff Hammock or something, he would take them to Guff Hammock. He said, at least I'm giving you like 7 to 10 miles off of your
Mm-hmm.
walk.
Mm-hmm.
if
So,
they if they look like they were veterans, or if they had like a veteran rucksack with their name and their number on it, he would always invite them in. Or I remember once when there was a family, and you said well, mama told me the family still came to visit. There was a family from going from Miami to up north, and they broke down. Daddy pulled their vehicle. No, they had a tire. Took the dad to Chiefland, helped him get a tire, put the tire on. All the kids, everybody was sitting around the house and eating around the dining room table. They had like 3 or 4 kids, and me and Denise and Rodney was mad because we had to share our chicken with them. But so that night, once the tire got fixed, they left. And mama said every year that whenever they were traveling, they would stop by and
oh,
visit.
I love that. I love that.
But that's what, to me, that's what Otter Creek used to be. It was okay. It was like the green book. You were
Mm-hmm.
always welcome.
Mm-hmm. And we like so just to like paint a picture of Otter Creek, it's very small. When I say small, like there's only a caution light. That's it. That's the town. But it has a lot of woods, and we have property up the street at what is considered Wakasasa. Now, if you don't know no better, and I do this too. You're gonna say that Otter Creek and Wakasasa are the same town.
But they're
Don't
not.
say that out loud. Don't say that out
Don't
loud because
say that
hunters
around
be like,
people.
we don't be in Otter Creek hunting. We hunting Wakasasa. So they're different, but we do
Right.
own hunting property also in Wakasasa. We have like 80 acres out there now. We used to have
Hmm.
600 due
Yep.
to some poor mismanagement by my grandfather's generation.
Yes.
Now I only have 80. But we also have but here's the interesting link. The property at Wakasasa also has hauntings there too. But
Yes.
newsflash, we also have family buried there because our old cemetery is there.
Correct.
So now I'm wondering, is there hauntings in Archer, but we're just never there long enough to see it, like at that cemetery? Is that-
Archer, Archer, to me, whenever I go there, there is something there. I just haven't been able to figure out what it is. It is, to me, whenever I go there, I
I feel
feel,
calm and at peace.
you feel what?
I feel calm and at peace.
I feel calm too, but I also feel like, I don't know if it's just me, but I also feel like there are stories that should be told.
I mean, yeah, because that's like again almost 200 years of our ancestors there. Most
Right.
Black people don't get that.
Right.
So like I mean, I when the last time I went,
We were cleaning.
yeah, we were cleaning. I went a time before that with my homegirl, when I had on my master's cap and gown for the first time, uh,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't get to actually walk because I had cancer, and we did a photo shoot out there, and I was just like, this is the place where like I can come to my ancestors and be like, y'all, I made it. You know what I mean? And like you can feel like the love all around, just like that warmth of like, look at our girl. She is our wildest dream. You know, that type of energy. And I always feel like whenever I go out there that there's kind of like that family ship, like that warm hug that family gives,
Yes.
where it's like they're waiting for you to always come and like give us some life updates, say hey, and it doesn't feel like, I don't know, like it doesn't feel like any other place. I think
No,
we've
it's not. To me, it's not scary.
mm-mm,
It's, I mean, and people will always say that's just the body in the ground, but I do feel like whenever we go there, that they do come to visit.
mm-hmm. And that's so like that. So that brings me to my next point when it comes to the house. Like I kind of feel like the house is kind of the same thing because here's the thing, like all the things we've seen in the house aside from what happened to me, and I still don't think it was trying to hurt me, but I don't think any of us have been hurt by any of the things we've seen, have we?
I don't think so. I mean, I told you the whole thing about, um, remember they used to say the spirits will ride you? I told you about that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, in that room, I remember that's why I don't sleep on my I that's why I sleep on my side to this day, because if you would sleep on your back or your stomach, it would get on top of you and you couldn't move.
In-
And it happened to me once. And I remember trying to use my fingers, move, and Denise and Rodney had left. I don't know how I was, probably about 13, 14. And they
mm-hmm.
had left out of the room and the door was cracked. And I was so hard trying to call somebody to come and open the door so this thing could leave me alone. And I
Mm.
don't, all I know is that it was holding me down. I don't know what it was trying to do, but
What
after
did it look
that,
like?
it you can't see it, but you can feel it pressing on the bed to get on you. But I was I was so hard sleeping until I didn't recognize it because I thought it was Denise or Rodney getting in bed with me, since that was such a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, I would never, ever, ever sleep on my back or my stomach, because I wanted to be able to roll if I felt it on me.
Interesting. So whenever something gets in a bed with me, I don't, you've heard my stories. I always think it's protection. I'm like, it
Mm.
was there to protect me, but like you had a completely different experience with yours.
Yeah. Mine
So,
was on me, like laying.
mm,
I don't know if it was protecting me or telling me, but as a child, that's not, no, that's not like a,
I think there's something there that is trying to communicate with us, but we don't know how to understand the communication. And our first thing is fear. So like,
right,
I'm not gonna say the story on this podcast on this one because I'm talking about it later. Um, or possibly. But like for me personally, whenever the thing was removing me, I think it was trying to show me something.
right,
But I was you can't do that to a 5-year-old, 6-year-old because we're not trying to see nothing.
right.
You know what I mean? And so I think that's kind of the thing. And I almost feel this way because even listening to the cousins, I'm not gonna say their names because they are alive and out there in the world. Even listen to the cousins talk about their gifts, and even listen to how Rodney talks about his. I don't think that there has been like a firm understanding of how to navigate it.
No,
You know what I mean? And so now that I feel like I'm the only one on this side of the family who actually pursues and navigates the spirit realm and
right.
like has like an actual like dialogue with it where we can like actually talk and converse. I feel like now that I'm older, I would like the opportunity to go back and stay at grandma and granddaddy's house for like a week and
Right.
try to communicate and be like, y'all, what are we really trying to talk about here? And kind of like have that clarity to kind of figure out what's all there, what's all talking, why is it talking. But that's not something we can do because there's a whole other person living there now. But like I
Right.
think that I would really like to do that because I like I said, I feel like it was trying to talk to us, but we didn't understand the conversation.
But you know what? This is one thing, and I know that, okay, with everything that goes on in Otter Creek, do you think that Mama's spirits followed her to Otter Creek to protect her? Like,
100%. Because now that I know how the spirit realm works when it comes to that, they don't leave you, and your ancestors are always a heartbeat away. Not even a heartbeat, like the brain thought away. So like here in Orlando, my ancestors don't play about me still. Like wherever I'm at, they go. If something feels wrong, they'll let me know. Same with when I was in Asia for the last 2.5 months. Like my people don't play about me. No matter where I am, they don't play about me. And so I know the same thing is true of grandma's people. And so,
because Grandma Treadaway
mhm,
was always with her. I mean,
mhm.
or no, at least showed up whenever she needed a sign.
Just to let you know, like, hey, I'm still here. I'm
No,
still
but
watching over you.
also,
I
but
got you.
remember I told you that I know we got to wind down soon, but remember when I told you that Daddy had quit his job,
Mhm.
we didn't have hardly any food, and he took, I don't remember how many, he took a certain amount of hogs to the to
Mark.
sell to the market. And when he and Mama was pregnant with Rodney, and she was laying across the bed, and she came, we're sitting on the floor probably watching television and playing dolls or coloring, and she came in the room and she said, why did y'all let that little girl in my room? And me and Denise were looking at the little girl. What look? There's it's just us. And she said, "Oh, okay." She said it must have been my grandma tread away. And even and scary us, we're like,
Why she
grandma
in
tread.
here? My mama said you can't come to the house. I can just see y'all like.
And so then we ran in the room where she was, and she said, whenever I see her, and what she told us is she said, I was laying in, because we were like, no, mama, nobody was in. She said, I was laying in the bed, and a little girl in a black dress came in there. And when I opened my eyes, she said, when I got up to say something to her, like to get out of my room, I'm trying to rest. She said she spun around, the wind of her dress hit me in the face
Mm-hmm.
and she ran out my room.
Mm.
And she had the door open so she could see us in the living room
Mm-hmm.
and hear us. And so when she told us that, oh, you talking about scared? We were scared. That's probably when we started sleeping together for real.
So question. Grandma never taught y'all how to like utilize your gifts?
Not really. I don't think so. I don't.
Interesting.
I don't think so. I
Y'all never
mean,
had conversations about what y'all gifts were with her?
no.
Why?
I don't know. I honestly and truthfully, I don't know.
Hmm. Interesting. Because with her having a gift, I figured that would be the person y'all would go to.
I mean, she used to talk about like her sister's gifts and not Angie, but Wanda's
Right.
gifts.
I can't be saying people's names, ma.
Oh, sorry.
And her sister's kids' gifts.
Yes, her sister's kids' gifts. She
Mm.
would talk about that, but never how to hone. I don't think she really knew how to hone them.
Mm. She just knew
I
she had
think
them.
that
It was so normalized on her side of the family to
yes,
of it.
yes, I think that it was just something that she just figured you'll learn how to work it.
But like to not know how to like set boundaries, you know that would be so exhausting.
Why do you think I like, to me I had a like a spiritual breakdown where it was like I can't do this
Mm-hmm.
because there's so, you do you know how it is when you go into a crowd of, let's do a small crowd, a crowd of 20, and everybody you're around, you can feel what they're thinking.
Yes. But
And
that's also why I put like boundaries on how much I'm doing So like you'll be like, just come to the house. I'm like, no, I can't because like I physically can't because I've been energetically pulled in so many other directions. Like I plan my energy for 6 months at a time. Like
Right.
I will look at my calendar and be like, I'm around 20 people. I'm gonna need 2 days to recover.
Okay. So
So,
answer this. So when you come to our house, does it drain you?
but I gotta drive 4 hours to get to y'all.
That's not what I'm talking about.
And but
Is
listen, but then I'm outside of my own comfort zone, like my home, being my
I
home
get
is
that.
a comfort zone. And y'all got animals with a lot of energy. And one in
Oh,
particular, y'all always got a dog with a lot of energy. But then you also have a lot of energy coming in and out of your house. So you
right.
got like a nanny slash housekeeper, a child that's there. You got your nephews that come over, not so much anymore. You have my nephew who stays with you. You have my brother's energy, his kids' energy. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of energy flow in and out of your home, and energy stays. So like so you know what I mean. So there's a lot, and then what y'all both do for living, y'all also pick up energy from the people y'all are always around.
Right.
So I can feel all of that residual energy. So like if I've planned it, I'm okay with it. But like to just randomly be like, oh, I'm in town, I'm gonna stay for 4 days. My
Okay, so
body,
tell me this. So why is it that when you come around that it calms? I don't know if does it calm me because of it's you and I know that you're okay?
yes, and but I also think also it's a time where our energies get to like rest in each other.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like
Yes.
with certain people in our family, when our energies get together, there's a calm. Because
Yes.
it's almost like number one, the spirit teams are all like, "Hey man, how you doing? I ain't see you." You know what I mean? Like the spirit teams are getting along. Like I don't got
Right.
to be on guard because we all here together type of energy. So I
Right.
definitely think it could be that too. Because also, how do I say this? I don't want to like put nobody else that's not any, me and you out like this, but I also think that there's a calmness within each other that we have that a lot of people around us don't have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we don't be dramatic.
Even when I get with Rodney, it's like I'm home.
Mhm.
Even though there's chaos around, I can sit on the sofa with him and just be quiet.
Mhm.
That is something that I enjoy. And I know whenever your brother is here, I know that he like goes down. You can feel his energy slowing down unless he
Mhm.
has his children with him.
Mhm. Cuz them they don't slow down for nobody.
No.
Nobody. Like literally full speed ahead. Yeah. And so like but even the oldest of his children that lives with you, his energy is not calming to me. It's a lot. But maybe as he gets older, it'll mellow out. But I think it's also because of what I picked up like the last time I read your house, where his energy is still trying to decide what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe that could be it. My energy be like, we don't like the inconsistency. What you doing?
So
So that
answer this. So what
mhm.
was the energy that you said was running around the house?
I don't know what that is in your house right now. I have no idea what that is in your house. And I didn't have the moment to be like, can we stop and see what it is? Because I hadn't prepared my energy for that yet because I'm still like recovering from jet lag and then coming back into my own house, my own home's a mess. But I don't know what that is in your house. It doesn't seem bad in any way. If anything, it seems more like a playful hyper energy. So it could just be a playful hyper energy because you have a toddler in your home right now. And you have a young dog in your home right now, so there's a lot of playfulness, you know what I mean? So it
Yep.
could be something like that because it didn't seem like anything bad, but it was definitely on the move the whole time, the entire time. So yeah.
Okay.
But
All
I
right.
could say if something was up, like your house, it's about that time to bless it again. So
Okay, well, it is time for us to close.
all right, so let's cleanse the energy because we want to make sure that all the things we were talking about, especially when we talked about like our homes being a portal. We want to make sure that if you are viewing this, you are not taking on any of this energy with you. You are not accidentally calling anything into it. So I am just going to say that may all the energy that we have discussed not latch onto you, any of the hearers, followers, or believers in this craft that have come to hear because we don't know, again, what this is, positive, negative, or otherwise. We want to make sure that you are cleansed. We want to make sure that the energies in which we've discussed, that if they are not things that we're welcoming into our home currently, that they are not attaching to us by us remembering them as well, so that we are able to have these conversations fully and wholly, without any negative or residual energies attaching to us. So we want to share that with you. I wish I had like my like incense, but I'm in my room. I'm in the bed today. There's no incense with me, but um, my heart to yours in that you can receive that as well. And so yeah. Ma, do you want to talk about what's the next episode? You want me to look and see what that
You
is?
can.
All right, so next episode. Ooh, what are we getting into? Now I'm excited. Like next episode, ooh, we're gonna talk about my grandmother's history in particular, and
Ooh.
talk about some of the cool spiritual gifts, because I feel like they have the cooler spiritual gifts.
Yes.
I feel like with the other side of the family, we're gonna get into the paternal line. I feel like they are more of what you would like stereotypically think about when you think of like hoodoo, like the roots and stuff like that. But grandmas are what you would think about when you think about like a family of gifts, which is probably why I wrote
Yes.
my first book called Party of Gifts. Everyone has gifts, but grandma's family I think has, and like the gifts are super cool. There are gifts I had never heard of before. But also, my can you call that side of the family and see if there's some more gifts that we don't know about?
Yep, I can do that
All
by
right,
next Monday.
cool, cool, cool. All right, so that was episode one. Mine, you survived.
Yay!
All right, we'll see you in episode two. Have a good day.
All right, baby. Love you.
Love you too, my see ya.